pray with me in this house. Real famine comes when stuff doesn't work out the way you thought it would.
That's right.
You were following God, you were returning tithe and reading your Sabbath school lesson. You just knew you were Mr. and Mrs. Spiritual. And it wasn't just any famine. The Bible says, so Abram went down to Egypt to sojourn there, for the famine was severe. Now, can I tell you what my experience has taught me that Abraham experienced? It's not that God didn't speak to him about the famine. Because God has spoken to you about your famine, hasn't he? He spoke to me. Haven't you ever been in a famine and the Lord said, leave that alone? Yes. Have you ever been short on money? God said, it's okay. Yes. I mean, in this economic tsunami, somebody knows that God has talked to you in the middle of the night. You lost your job, everything's going crazy in your life, and God says, it's okay. You should have gone, no, Lord, you don't understand. The bill is due tomorrow. Yes. The Lord said, it's okay. And I believe God did the same thing with Abraham. But the problem is that when you're in chair 2, a promise is not good enough. Oh. You want details. I want to know when the money's going to hit my account. I want to know when the check is going to show up in the mail. I don't want to hear it's going to be all right, Lord. I want to know how you going to do it, when you going to do it. I need details. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And so, many of us really need to be honest and say we might be journeying to chair 1, but we're not there yet. Yes. Because the truth of the matter is, see, when you're in chair 1, the details don't matter. All you know is God's got it. Yes. You don't care how he does it. You don't care when he does it. You know it's going to always be on time. But can I tell you how you know if you're in chair 2? When you think God's been late. I can tell I've lived a little bit careful. Because I'm not talking from, this is not theory, this is life. Because, anybody ever been mad at that song? He's an on-time dog. Yes, no, he ain't. He's late. He's late. If it was me, he'd have been here 2 days ago. I mean, isn't that what Mary and Martha told Jesus when he showed up after Lazarus had been dead for 4 days? Lord said, I am the resurrection and the life. Martha said, yeah, I know, but you're late. You've been here, my brother would not have died. You're late. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Yes. Now, here's the problem. It's hard to understand why God would allow this to happen to Abraham. But here's what I need you to see, because I want to show you something now. This famine, okay, see, I know I got some theologians in the room, so I got to be careful how I say this, because I know some of you will want to debate this later. Now, I don't know if God preordained Abraham to go to Egypt, or if God didn't use Abraham's going to Egypt, but I want you to see the pattern that it set. Watch this. While we may not understand all of God's purposes, we can discern the outline of his will in retrospect. When we consider how Abram's journey to Egypt set the pattern for a nation and for a Messiah, we begin to understand the reason for the famine, even though Abraham did not. Because remember now, I haven't told the whole story, but you just stay with me. Just as Abram went to Egypt and his wife was taken captive and then delivered by God, plaguing Pharaoh, so would the nation of Israel. I want you to notice the parallel. Abram goes down to Egypt. Why? Because of a famine. Why does Jacob take all of his family down to Egypt? It is because there's a famine. Yes. Amen. Yes. Now, when Abraham comes out of Egypt, God plagues Pharaoh's house. I know I haven't read it for you yet, but just stay with me. The same thing happens when Israel is to come out of Egypt, God sends plagues.
Yes. Yes.
Are you seeing how, my God, there's a method to my God's madness? You might not understand all of what God is doing. You might not be able to see what God is doing. But if you trust it,
Amen.
some stuff that you're going through is not even for you.
Amen.
He's setting a pattern for your children or your grandchildren or your great-grandchildren. You don't understand what God is doing, but God's got bigger purposes.
Yes.
You gotta learn to trust him. You gotta learn to trust him. But not only was it setting a pattern for the nation of Israel, but it set a pattern for Jesus. Because remember Matthew 2, verse 13? Now when they had gone, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream and said, get up, take the child and his mother and flee to where? Same place. Same place. Because see, I don't have time to do that, but I wish I had time to go through the fact that Jesus' life is based on the nation of Israel. And Israel was following the pattern set by Abraham. Amen. See, this was to fulfill what had been spoken by the Lord through the prophet. Out of Egypt, I've called my son. Here's what I need to tell someone. If you don't get anything else out of this message, please understand, there's no sorrow, no pain, no heartache that you experience that is without a purpose.
Amen.
Now, you might not be able to see the purpose. Some purposes you won't see till you get to heaven. But when you get to heaven, you will find out that you say, you know, Lord, I wouldn't have had it any other way. Yes. You might not understand it down here. Yes. But when you get there. Now, I want you to see what happens when you can't take God's promises and say, okay, I'm going to bank God's promises. You know, when God speaks to you and says, it's going to be all right. And you go, Lord, all right, when? Lord, I'm looking for that blessing. It's not here yet. Here's what happens. When you lose faith in God, look what happens. It came about when he came near to Egypt that he said to Sarai, his wife, see now, I know that you are a beautiful woman. And when the Egyptians see you, they will say, this is his wife, and they will kill me. But they will let you live. Please say that you are my sister so that it may go well with me because of you and that I may live on account of you. I want you to stay with me now. See, when God disappoints you, and I'm not saying literally he disappointed you, but in your mind he has disappointed you, now the only thing you can see is death. Oh, I wish somebody would tell the truth in this house. How many deaths have you died? Oh, we're going to end up living in a cardboard box. We're going to go to debtor's prison. Because you don't know where the money's coming from. All you can see is death. Now, don't miss what has happened. Abraham left out, said, listen, I'm going where the Lord said to go, and I'm going to be blessed, and all the nations of the earth are going to be blessed because of me. Oh, yeah, I'm going to be the head and not the tail. I mean, he was out there, he had a prosperity theology. He was, woo, yes, glory. But then he runs into a famine. And now because God is acting in a way that he cannot understand, Abraham says, listen, I don't really know if God's going to take care of it. I followed him into a famine. Anybody here can be honest and say, you know, I did some crazy stuff because I thought I couldn't trust God. I thought I had to take care of myself. Now, you know you should not have called cousin Billy Bob and asked him for no money. You knew it. You know Billy Bob don't get his money from the right places.